forgot to record. Whew. Got it. So does anybody want to hop in and share? Hey, Ronni.
Hi, Iris. Hi, everybody. I just 5 minutes ago bound off. So it's not wedlock, but here it goes. And this is the shift of many colors.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I used stash.
Ronni, the effect
All
is
those
incredible.
leftover bits.
Yes.
So I hope it looks a-okay.
It looks way better than A-okay. It looks like a party that's gonna make you feel like celebrating every time you put it on your head.
And to celebrate, I went back to my socks again.
Ronni, that is fantastic. Congratulations. I love what you did there with those colors. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you. I wasn't too sure, but I had so much little tiny balls of every single color. I thought, you know what? This is it.
Fantastic idea. Wonderful. Well, thanks for that. Who wants to do a shift show and tell next?
I'll jump in. Can you hear me okay?
You look great, and I can hear you fine.
Iris, this is a real treat for me. I'm DeeDee Drury, and I live in San Diego, California, but I'm a New Englander, and I happened to check out the website at the Cashmere Goat, and you guys are doing the shift, and I am doing the shift, but I was doing it alone. So I listened to one of your Zoomcast, and I was cracking up, and my husband was in the other room going, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "Because they are going through exactly what I have gone through." And so it was such a treat. I miss New England. I've been out in San Diego for 37 years. I came to try it, and I met a nice guy from Wisconsin, and he doesn't want to live in the cold weather. So here I am in San Diego. But I'm also thrilled that the Cashmere Goat is thriving, and your social media person is terrific. As I get emails and whatnot from you. So can you switch to sharing my screen? Can you do that?
I'm gonna do what is called like spotlight. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, let me see if I can shift into photos. I find if I use a photo, it just works a lot better than holding up. But this is the first one I've done. So let me.
Oh my God, and you added little buttons, do I see?
Oh, well, there's a story behind that. Click, you can take the New England gal out of New England, but you can't take New England out of the gal. And I bought the yarn at a store in Northern California, and I used a larger weight, and the gal said, "You can't do that. You should really do it in one type of yarn." And it was more expensive. So I said, "Well, just void it, and we'll bring it up again." She goes, "Oh, I can't do that. You have to use store credit." And this is one of those fancy stores that there's absolutely nothing under $15. But I did find 2 buttons, and I thought, okay, I'll just apply the buttons to the finished shift. And that's what I've done. Okay, let me go to the photos, which will be, there we go. Can you see that?
I can't see that you're sharing. Can you try sharing your screen again? It's like should be if you hover near the controls.
I have to go back. Hold on a second. Hold on.
In the Zoom. No problem.
Zoom. Okay, so I need to go and share my screen.
And then you should have the option to choose which window to share. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Is that working for you guys? Can you see that? Okay. All right. I just find that it's a lot easier to work with photos than
I love that idea. Great. And look at those Colors.
Yeah, I know.
your-
This is my wardrobe basically in these colors, but I ended up going with the spin cycle yarns. And okay, so that's basically how it looks.
Yep.
And let's see. And in this one, you can see the colors and you can see the close-up on the knitting.
Gorgeous.
And the colors really are beautiful. And here's the when I blocked it.
Gorgeous.
You can see the colors. And I think in the pattern she recommended doing it on a trash can, or I mean a trash bag, and that really helped. I washed it lightly and then put it in a towel and wound it up, and then with stamp I just let it dry on the like a kitchen trash bag, and then that's how it looks. And I added those 2 little buttons, and we were up in Oakland, and I bought more yarn. I was really quite taken by it. And the one in the middle I used on the previous project. And the one on the left uses a lot of the same color blue. And then that's what it looks like when you sort of open it up.
Incredible. I love these pictures.
And there we are. I'm up to 7, number 7. But this time, I honestly, the first one I made, I felt like I made it twice. I knitted the whole damn thing twice with all the taking out the rows and stuff like that. And I also think that her instructions are perfect. It's operator error that has transpired. You know, when you get those slip stitches, you can easily drop one of those. So that is my show and tell.
DeeDee, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys, I'm not kidding. I feel like I'm back in New England and left Camden. Okay, so let me get out of this.
That's
so
great.
You can keep going.
So elegant.
We're yeah, it really is. And you know, we're learning this as we go, DeeDee, but I really love the idea of maybe having some, like, suggesting, you know, as we're getting ready to share projects in a knit along on a Zoom. I think it's a great idea to task folks with, like, take a couple pictures and then we can get to sharing and stuff. If you click on the share screen, you should have the, like, stop share option.
Where do I hit? What do I hit?
It looks, if you touch the share screen button again, it should give you the option to stop sharing.
Do you still have it or not? Stop sharing.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Because I forgot about the spotlight thing, can I just, Ronni, willing to humor us and hold yours up, and I'm going to spotlight you so we can be sure that we can get.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Oh yes.
It just looks.
Oh, Ronni, that's great.
Loving it. Just so beautiful.
I'm gonna do something weird here. So I then made it stripes.
It just sort of adds some interest.
It's a design element.
So I can't wait to just sew it up.
It's just lovely. Thanks for humoring us again. All right. Well, who might like to pop in for the next show and tell? Catherine, I'm dying to see yours. Can I just, like, call on you? I'm just dying to see yours.
Sure. Yep. So here it is. I don't know.
Oh wow, I love it.
Yeah, I decided at the last minute to use the peach color as the background instead of going back to the green. And I absolutely love it. I loved doing this I-cord bind off. I've never done it before. It was so fun. And I love the way it looks. And I love the way it came out. It's perfect. I love it because it keeps my neck warm, but it also will, you know, cover that spot in the front where your coat doesn't actually close. So I'm very excited about this, and I cannot wait to make another one. I want to make one with bigger needles, so it's a little bit looser,
Mhm.
and more of like an accent piece as opposed to functional.
Yep. And are you thinking of maybe trying sport weight or going up even like a heavier weight yarn?
No, I think I want to do a lighter weight
Mhm.
because this was a sport weight.
Oh, got
But
it.
I'm a very tight knitter
Mhm.
and I use size 6 needles, so I'm thinking a thinner yarn and a bigger needle to make it a little looser and have a nicer drape.
I
Great.
did,
And
I did the
Mm.
fingering weight. I did mine with a size 6 needle. You might like that with fingering weight.
Yeah.
Well, and also too, I mean, think about your fiber content. I don't know what your sport weight fiber content was, but like if you have a little bit of a silk in there, or
Mhm.
maybe even a single ply is going to have a little bit more potential for drape too. But I think that's beautiful what you've got, and thank you for
Thank you.
sharing.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Any other shifters ready to show and tell? Even if it's not finished, you can hold
Can
up
I
your
show mine?
progress. Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm wearing the one I showed you last week, and I love it. It's just so easy to put on, but I'm just now stitching up the second one.
Oh,
Beautiful.
nice.
The yarn
Both
is,
of them.
the yarn is out of my stash, all kinds of blues and purples, fingering yarn marled together,
Mm.
2 plies. And it's pretty heavy, but it's for my sister who loves to wear blue, but wants to adventure into a little purple. And I've had so much fun making this that I keep moving balls of yarn around trying to decide what color I'm going to do next, because I'm definitely going to do another one of these just because I can't stop. Wouldn't this make an absolutely fabulous sweater or blanket?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Make a really
And-
great Afghan.
Jill, you're making me think about this morning. I was watching an old episode of, I don't know, does anybody watch? I know that, oh my gosh, can't think. But I know one of our knitters here, and I'm going to pop off spotlight because it's Danielle. Yeah, I just had to see your face. Watches the Andrea Mowry podcast. And
yeah.
in an earlier episode, she was wearing, it's a big cardigan. It's like she wanted a cardigan that was going to fit over her, outerwear, almost like, and it had somewhat shorter sleeves, designed to be a layering piece on top. Yeah, what is it called?
Oh,
It's called Tiverton. Trinigan. Can you guys
Trinigan.
see that?
Oh, I made one of those. It's a fabulous pattern, and she did a great job of writing it. It turned out really well, and it took almost no time to make.
Because it's worsted, right, Jill?
Yes, and I made it from a hand spun that was a little bit of a heavy worsted. I would recommend that I think it's really designed for DK, and I think that would be very nice because it'd be very drapey and comfortable. Mine is very pretty, but it is definitely very heavy.
I was wondering about that heaviness, but I also thought, because it uses the same mosaic knitting type of technique, I was actually thinking of maybe popping that into maybe one of our last emails of just like, hey, are you in love with this kind of mosaic slip stitch knitting construction?
Well,
What's
in
the
my
name of
case,
that
Get along.
in my case,
It's
it's
fun
the spin cycle yarn. I've sort of fallen in love with it. So I kind of figured out how much it would cost for the yarn alone. And it was like $500. No, I don't know, but it,
Ouch.
yeah.
I used a plain sort of lavender color as the background color, but then I bought some Noro yarn to use for the second color, and that worked really well because the color changes looked really good. Actually, I could go up and get it if you'd like.
Yeah, go get it.
I'll do that.
What was the name of the pattern?
Trinigan.
Trinigan.
Trinigan. Wait a minute.
Oh,
I
thank
will,
you.
Sue, I can also put it in the chat, and then you could click on the link and it will be open
Okay.
in a browser or something. I was
Great,
just
thank
looking at
you.
it. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else have a progress report or interested in having a little show and tell?
I finished mine.
Yay. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna spotlight you now. So keep holding that up there. Nice.
Ooh.
I'm a little
Oh, I love the
close.
colors.
Oh, lovely. Beautiful.
Pretty. I'm ready to block it. So I can't wait to wear it. I thought this was so much fun. It was such a fun project, even with all the griping that we did on Sundays. we also, there was a group of us that kept having to take out, but it was fun, and I'm looking forward to making another.
Hooray. I'm so glad, Sue. So
Yeah.
pretty.
I've
And
got-
you used
colors.
Kathmandu, yeah?
I used Kathmandu and started with a paler yarn in the beginning, and then switched to something a little brighter, the variegated. But I'm planning on doing a gray, off-white, and charcoal one. So, 'cause those
Nice.
would go with my coat. But I love it. I love it. It was fun.
That's so good. Thank you.
I'm so sorry I waited all these years to knit this. And I had the pattern since day one. And
Me
just
too.
never did it. But it was the most fun thing to knit.
I've
I
had
was
the
in the
pattern
same
for-
boat. I was in the same boat. I think I've looked at that pattern in probably 8 years. And I never found the right yarn combinations that I wanted to purchase. And we were up in Northern California, and my daughter said, Mom, there's that pattern you like. Right. And then I found you guys.
It's so much fun. I'm so glad that you did find us, because it really has been a nice pattern to knit in community. And I think part of that is, you know, some of those common issues that a lot of us shared. And, you know, oh my God, I had to tear. I mean, just last Sunday, I was tearing out for, you know, picking. I wasn't tearing, I was picking out 2 or 3 rows because stitch was, I don't know what happened. I was talking. That's what happened. You know, it happens. But, but it's so much fun and so satisfying to see all those colors coming together. I think that's also been part of the fun of our groups in person and online, is seeing these vibrant, creative ways that you all are using color. It's so fantastic.
We've had some amazing combinations of colors. It's just, they're beautiful, every one of them.
Oh, I think the sweater's there.
Yeah, let me show it to you before
Yes.
when the sun goes down, the light gets bad in this room.
Okay, I'm spotlighting. So
Yeah.
just sort of stand a little still and we can,
Oh my
yes.
word, it's
Oh,
gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
I want one.
It's pretty long. Whoops, see, it goes down halfway to my knee, but I'm not very tall. But with a turtleneck under it, it's really fabulous to wear. And this seam is so nice that she put into this. It's a really good pattern. And like I said, what I did was I used just plain lavender with Noro number 40 colorway, which is the blue colorway that I like so much. And it just gave it some variation in color. It's a wonderful thing to put on.
Beautiful.
I recommend it. I hope somebody will knit one, because I'd like to see somebody else's choice of colors.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm very inspired.
Oh, go for it. Pick a yarn though that like either out of your stash or that you don't have to spend $500 on.
I agree.
What?
What was the weight of the Noro, and which
The
Noro?
Noro is a worsted weight. It's Korean.
Oh, okay, great.
Which is,
I know what that one.
for some reason, for the last 30 years or 20 years or something, I've stocked up on Korean blue in that one colorway because it just suits me. I don't know why. We all have our favorite colors.
Sure do. All right, any other shift or show and tell here? I see Kathy, oh yeah, good. I'm gonna spotlight you.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
such nice colors.
My favorite colors, green and pink. Wow. I'm serious. Oh, I love that.
Kathy, remind us where you're joining us from.
I am from Northern Virginia.
Nice. That is a beautiful color combo. And what are the yarns in that?
The yarns are from Bad Sheep Yarns. It's
Mhm.
their poetry collection. So it's a dark green, the lighter green, and then a variegated. Yeah, I can.
Lovely. And then what do you have around your neck right now too? We've got, oh,
Right around my neck is just a really simple scarf. I think it's called Easy by Martina
Same.
M. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pretty.
I've made several of those because I discovered I don't really like making socks. So,
Here I am. I'm knitting socks on a 9-inch circular, and it's the
Oh, yeah.
fastest way ever to knit a sock.
Oh,
Really.
wow.
why?
Well, I'll tell you why. When I love to knit socks because it's very calming from all the stresses of work. And when my program, chemocats.com, we donate all over the world, but St. Jude's is one of our big time things. And a few years ago, one of the social workers called me and said, you know, I have a couple young teens here who will be in isolation for a long time and their feet are freezing. And I was not a sock knitter. I wasn't good at sock knitting, but I thought, oh, how can I fail these kids? So I took 1 million classes in 3 days and I started to knit socks. And I became a great sock knitter with magic loop, 5 DPNs, 2 circulars. And I was at Vogue Knitting Live in New York City, sitting quite a few years ago, sitting waiting for a fashion show to begin. And of course, we're all sitting there packed in like sardines knitting. And a gal sitting behind me is knitting. I don't even know what the hell she's doing, but she's got a 9-inch circular needle and she's knitting. And I said to her, oh, I'm sorry. I know I'm pretty dumb, but hey, let me ask you, what are you knitting and why would anyone knit something on a 9-inch circular? She said, oh, she ended up being some very famous designer and she was good friends with Kat Bordy. And she said, well, let me give it to you straight. It is the fastest way in your life you'll ever knit a sock and it will come out perfect, whether it's cuff down or toe up. And it's awkward at first, but once you cast on, join and start knitting, trust me, you'll love it. So I excused myself from the fashion show. My friends, of course, kept my seat. I was coming back and I went running to the vendor area like a fool. And I bought four 9-inch circulars, 1s and 2 1s and 2 2s. And she happened to be having opal sock yarn in a basket. I said, oh, I'll take 2 balls of this too. I said, here's my card, hurry up quick. I got to run the hell back. So I went back and I sat down. I said, well, now I'm going to be you. So, and it was very awkward. So the trick is really casting on in the first row. It is awkward. And until you get used to it, it's very awkward. But I cast on and I knit through that whole fashion show. And we were staying there for the weekend. So eventually when I went upstairs after the day, before I got ready for the night, I just thought I would just sit. We had a suite. There were 8 of us and we shared like a 4-bedroom suite. It was great because we sat up all night and knit and talked. And and I sat down in the living room. I said, oh, I can't get ready yet. I just got to keep on knitting. You know, I went to the dinner. I went to the fashion show at night. I came back to the suite. We were up all night. By the morning, I had half the sock done.
wow.
And
That's
I did
incredible.
a short row, German short row heel. And I only took half the stitches off the one needle and put them on another needle for the front. And I did the heel. And then I went around, no gusset, nothing. And the sock came out perfect. I actually, the next morning, I'm ashamed to say I bought a pair of sock blockers. Like I couldn't wait till I'd get home in 2 days. No. And in the bathroom on the shower rod, I'm hanging them. And I put a note to the housekeeping, please do not remove. They're meant to be here.
Oh, that is such a good story and a good, I mean, like I'm loving the testimonial because I've not tried socks on the tiny ones. So now you're giving me some inspiration to try it.
Iris, it's awkward at first, but I tell you, after about an hour or so, it becomes so commonplace. And it's, you know what, I'll be honest, I let the colors of the yarns, striping, speckles, whatever they are, do the pattern. I just knit vanilla socks. That's it. You know, I don't want to think about anything. It's great for movie watching. It's great for whatever. So every time I get 52 socks knit, off they go to St. Jude's.
Aw,
And
wonderful.
I have managed for myself to keep 2 pair of socks, which I have here that I just finished and blocked. And
Oh.
these I just wear like in bed because, you know, I'm all bedridden for like 8 weeks now from an accident. So I do that. And for wearing socks with shoes, I hate to tell you, black socks from Target do me.
Love that. Thank
But,
you.
But anyway, try it. You will love it. Really. I promise you.
Really appreciate that. This is why this is so fun. I'm always like learning new things. So who else can we hear from?
I would love to get some opinions on my shift.
Okay,
So-
I'm gonna spotlight you.
All right. So I was really loving this first bit with the navy background. And then my colors, B and C, are kind of similar. They probably don't look like it here, but C is speckled and it has some of the B color in it. So then once I got to this section, it feels kind of out of place because it's just B and C. It like, I don't know, it looks like a very kind of chunky, awkward stripe instead of a nice transition. So I can't decide if I want to rip it back. I was thinking it might be nice if I do B and then have A as the contrast and then do a section with C as the background and A as the contrast. But I'm afraid I'm going to run out of yarn if I do that. And then the other problem I'm having, and I don't know if you guys can see it right here, but I put a lifeline in because I was afraid that I might feel this way about this section. And the lifeline is bright green. And so it's making it hard for me to like visualize what it's going to look like without the lifeline. I can't tell if the transition is ugly because the bright green lifeline is there or because it just is like a little too contrasty with my original background. So I'm debating just ripping out this last section and switching with the pink background and then the blue contrast and then the, you know, marled background and then the blue contrast. And I have to decide by tomorrow because I'm going on a long car trip and I don't want to like finish this and then have to rip it all out.
The pressure is on. This group is gonna have some good wisdom. So I'm gonna who has an opinion here?
I like it. I
Yeah.
say keep going with it.
I like it. I mean,
I don't
I have,
believe in ripping stuff
I like
out
it
either.
I do too. And I think when it's all finished
Yeah.
and you're wearing it, that will be a great pop of color.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, then
Yeah.
I'll keep going.
Can you see mine sort of did the similar, I sort of had a similar color change there, right?
Mhm.
And I decided, oh, sorry, my husband's getting ice out of the freezer. I don't know if you can hear that. But I sent a note to Eris the other day because I was a little worried because it called for the decrease section was going to look just like this section. And I thought I needed to change. So I went back to, instead of B and C, which was here, I went back to A and B, but opposite of what the beginning was, right?
Mhm.
So, and now then for section 7, I think what happens is I bring back my purple as the background and I'm going to use the B color as my pickups color. So I think that's a lot like what you're doing in terms of that. And my advice, and you can see I've got a lifeline in here, and it's unwaxed dental floss.
Oh.
And that way you don't really, it doesn't really show up, right? And it doesn't confuse me, and I don't leave fiber colors from my other yarn behind when I rip it out.
Good
That's a good
idea.
So
Good idea.
yeah, so I think yours is looking a lot like mine, like it's a lot of the same idea, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think
I
my
like it.
concern is the background is so dark, and then in this section, it just like the whole thing looks so light. I want a little bit of dark in there.
So
But
so what you're thinking of potentially could be is having the pink background with the navy blips of contrast.
Do
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
next.
Would
Like
work.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
So I would take this section out and then remake
No.
it as pink with navy, and then it would be the multicolored with navy.
I
Leave
hate
that in.
What
I
section
think
are you, what section are you on?
I think it's 5 is the last section before the decrease.
I would leave
I
that
mean,
in.
Yeah.
I think it's totally up to you. Like if it's bugging you, if you're looking at it, because you know, we have the Zoom light and it's like we can't really see it the same way, but it's all about, I mean, I think there's a lot
Yeah.
of you know, it looks great from our end, but if it's giving you the heebie-jeebies and just
Yeah,
not hitting you
definitely.
right, you know, I think that you've got to trust your gut a little bit too. And is it worth, you know, you've got the lifeline in, so I'd say make it right for yourself. I mean, so mine has a lot. I'll just spotlight myself for a minute. There we go. So mine is like super bold by design. Really wanted to play around with this like grays and this pink, and then moving to the charcoal. This is like my favorite section so much. And I thought, geez, you know, this is my second to last section. And I was like, what am I going to do for my last section? I really liked keeping that charcoal background for 2 sections here, but I think in my final section, I might go to light gray with a pop of pink just as my end. And then it'll be sort of an interesting connection back to the beginning when I seam it. It's hard though. It's hard when you like start seeing something and you're like, I'm not sure.
I think it'd be important to turn it at an angle because it's slanted when you sew it together. It looks different. I was really worried about the turquoise, but you know, after I put it together, it actually is nice to have a pop color as an accent. And it's funny, it seems like this pattern, you can't go wrong. I haven't seen an ugly one yet. Have you?
No,
I mean, it's just amazing. But yeah, turn it at an angle a little bit because it'll be on the diagonal when you sew it together.
I think I do like it better on an angle.
And fold it a little bit because notice how much folding this is. I just popped it on with this Trinidad, which by the way,
It looks so good with that sweater. Great match.
I know, it really went. I didn't even plan it that way.
So
But-
maybe I might keep this section, but then for the last section, for the next section, have the multicolor with the navy instead of just the opposite of this. So it would be the inverse of this instead of the inverse of this.
I think it looks great. Really nice.
Okay, I'll keep going. Thank you guys. That's good because I have a long car trip tomorrow, so I really want to get a bunch done.
Yay. Jane, it looked like you were wanting to do a little share. I'm gonna spotlight you up here.
Spotlight, hopefully the colors.
Well, you're kind of backlit. Can you possibly
Hang on a
turn your
second.
situation? Yeah.
There's so many windows in here. Hang on a second.
Well, natural light is great, except when you're trying to show and tell you're knitting on Zoom.
Wait a second.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Like it. So it's actually, I think if I turn it like that, you can see.
Gorgeous.
oh,
So I'm moving
beautiful.
along. I really feel like I get it now. You know, you guys know I struggled a lot and had a hard time getting started, but I'm on to section 4 here. And I can't wait to finish it. And I'm going to see Catherine this weekend. I'm going down to my sister Catherine, going to see her this weekend. So bring in the yarn. And I had a question too about what I was going to do next, because I was wondering the pink would be the background at some point, and I just didn't know if that would look too much.
No, it's gonna look great, Jane.
Thank you, Catherine. But yeah, I can't wait to finish it. I'm so excited and make another one.
I think it is really, you know, it can be hard because especially if you're seeing that bold color and you're like, whoa, this is going to be intense. But where the beauty of this, like Jill, you said, you know, on the bias, I kind of folded in, you're just going to get this beautiful little like coming out. I think it's going to be gorgeous. And is that Machida that you're using?
Yeah, Machida. The pink, so the other two are Machida. The pink is Queensland.
Nice.
Is that what that's called?
Yep, the Kathmandu fingering.
Kathmandu. Yep.
Mhm.
So I love, and it's funny because the pink was actually the first color, the first yarn that I picked. You know, this was the one that I really wanted, you know, was
Yep.
this pink. And then I matched the other, you know, picked out the other ones, but yeah.
We can be twins because it's the same pink that I'm using for mine.
Oh, really? Okay. I already have a twin sister, so not Catherine. a different
So
one.
that's out. You know, I
That's
can't be
out.
the twin.
Sorry, I'm
Okay,
already taken.
we can be shift twins at least.
There you go. We'll be shift twins. So anyway, I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jane.
Jane, we're going to the yarn store this weekend.
I can't wait.
Awesome. Where are the two of you located again?
I'm in Camden.
You're in Camden,
I'm
but
right down the street from the shop, but
Right.
Catherine is in Danbury, Connecticut.
got it.
Our mother's, yeah, our mother's turning 89 on Friday, so.
Well, if there's any way that you could do a little picture of yourself, even if your shift isn't finished, but we'd
Yeah.
like a little like sister content if we can get it from you.
Okay, we'll do it.
I see that Rose, you have your hand raised like such a good student.
Let me take my hand down now. So let me do that. So I guess my question is, and I'm woefully behind everybody else. I'm on section 3, but I'm using Feederbrook as my name. And the question is, because my main color, my color A, is color shifting. So for example, I'm wondering, does anybody else have that going on? Because the questions that were asked, I thought were absolutely great. And I'm going to be making another shift at some point, probably with a more solid color. But the question would be, what is anybody else doing this with a color shifting yarn like Feederbrook?
As the background color, you're saying?
Yeah, as the background color, because for example, I'm just noticing.
Hold it up in front of the camera so we can really take it in. Okay, yep.
I think it looks great.
It looks
Beautiful.
I love it.
Pretty.
Too much to have a cohesiveness. Yes, there's pops, with the A, the B, and the C colors, etc. But is there enough? Is there going? Because I've never done Feederbrook with this type of pattern before. I've done interlock with it. I've done other things, but I'm just wondering if this will be enough of a pattern. Excuse me, hold on. If this will be enough of a
Contrast?
garment to be able to show some contrast. So if anybody else is knitting with something like Feederbrook that's as their main color, I would love to hear feedback, what have you.
I know, I don't know that anybody on this call is using their color change as the background, but I have seen that. And I've also seen that in a lot of other Andrea Mowry knits. And I think it can work really pretty well. And the beauty of what you were just holding up to me is that that color change is so like that, the way that that plays with the little contrast blips is very visually interesting. And so I'm like, want to be like on the edge of my seat for once you get to the part where you're going to shift your background color. Like, I want to know how that mystery turns out because I think it's going to be amazing.
Right, that's what I'm curious to see, because I was like, all right, this is shifting a lot on its own, just in the background, unintentionally. I knew what Feederbrook does, but not in this context. So I was like, okay, so I guess I was looking to see if anybody already had been through this, to see once you do get to that part and you have to shift off the background color, like again, so just because the scope of it, I would think the night shift, which is the bigger one, would give you more space, more literally fabric to see the spectrum and then have it come around again. Whereas that's what I'm curious with this one, because it's a smaller project, will I get to see that? So that's my big question mark.
I'm not sure that we have any answers, and that's part of the excitement and mystery, right? But
exactly.
I think that again, the beauty of it, and as so many people have said, like, you're working with great material. you've got good ingredients, and that color shift gradient was a really interesting, it was its own sort of more, it was a different twist on this pattern, let's say, but I think it has a lot of, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
We'll see.
So,
Fingers. Thank you.
Rose, I saw a YouTube video of someone that did the night shift, so the bigger one, but she
Yes.
used like all spin cycles, so it was all the slow shifting. And something she said that I thought was interesting was that there were some spots where her yarn was not contrasty enough because right, like the color A had some yellow and color B had some yellow, and they happened to be matched up at the same time. So the thing she said she did was at the end when she looked at it, and there were some spots that she didn't like the combo, so she took a different part of the yarn and she kind of cross stitched over it and just added like a really small like X detail to the stripes to make the color blend better, I think she said. So I would have to find the video because I don't remember. I think it was Young Folk Knits, but I don't remember which video it was. But I saw that around the time I was starting the shift. I was like, that's a really cool idea. If the colors don't match up, you can just add a little more detail on top. So that's another thing I was thinking about. If I got to the end and I was like, oh, I don't like this one section, I could just add some navy on the top.
And that's a great point, because for example, that already happened here. I don't think anyone can see it, where the blue of the, where is it?
I'm getting the spotlight going. Hold on. Yeah.
Of the color C didn't pop up enough against the background, but I said, let me see how it goes. And then when it transitioned to this part, I thought like, okay, there's enough there that I'm okay with it. But exactly, I think with the night shift, in having done this now, because it's such a bigger fabric that you're working with as you create it, it would work to the advantage of Feederbrook with its very defined, which I happen to love. When I've done entrelac, I love Feederbrook for entrelac, but this is a first. So yeah, I think that idea of like maybe doing a cross stitch or a duplicate stitch, if that happens, that's great. Thank you for that.
When I did my second shift and I took the skeins home and I wound them up, and you can kind of see the sequence as you're looking down on it, I ended up taking one of those balls of yarn and rewinding it again, because I thought that the patterning or the color sequence would work better. Yeah, and that just really helped, because I was concerned that it was going to be too similar. So I just rewound it again and it reversed the sequence.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because I'm thinking that, and this will be my last comment because I don't want to hog it up, but as I'm coming now into like a more orangey, like you can start to see more of that coral is coming up. Maybe what I'll do is break apart this to see into like little sections, and then that's a great idea. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Yeah, Ronni.
Just a quick question, because I am so dumb at this. Does anyone have their shift that they finished but didn't seam up yet?
I have one at the shop that is.
I just wanted to see, honestly, if I have it right. I mean, I looked at the pictures 100 times, but does it end up going like this?
So you want to lay it out. Yeah, like you want to lay it out in front of you on a table, and you're looking to have that longest I-cord edge. That's the top. That's the part that's going to go around your neck. It definitely
Is that the part that you cast off?
No, nope. The one that is it should be the longer edge.
Okay, got that.
Yeah,
okay, that's the side edge. Okay.
Oh, and it looks like Wendy, are you holding yours up so we can see? Let me just spotlight you. Hold it back a little bit so we can see the shape at the edges. So Ronni, her I-cord edge is along the top between her two fingers, and then Wendy, if you hold like, so you can show that edge where you would sew it exactly. Yeah, like show how you would fold. Yeah, and that is where
I
you can
can't
see
see
that.
it. It's too low.
Oh, hold it up a little more, Wendy. Can you? Thank you. That's the edge. So now, Wendy, can you fold yours in half like you would be seaming it, and then we can show what that looks like. Nope, other way.
I think I know. I don't think I know which way to do it.
Yeah, and I don't know
I
either. I'm
just
not
finished
getting it.
casting off.
So so that's what we
Yeah.
want to see. So on the left hand of your screen, as you look at Wendy, she's got the neck edge. So on her right hand is touching the neck edge, but it's a left for us. That's the neck edge. That's the I cord. Then the part that she's pinching with her left hand, her left finger, that's the seam edge between her two hands. And then the open edge is this long triangle part here. Does that make sense?
No, I'm not getting it at all. And I'm not really seeing what I'm not getting what she's doing either. I'm lost.
If you can locate where you started, the little triangle that you started,
Yes.
that's going to be
Right.
on the back of the top of your neck in the back.
What? Here's where I started. Here's the little triangle.
Yep.
And so that would be the long edge going up that side, yes? No.
In the email that I
Here.
sent that I think just came out yesterday, there was a little diagram schematic of dimensions that I put as an image. I just did a little sketch of how it looked. That might also be something you could reference after the call too, if you're not getting it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, ladies, for holding you up. I'm really not getting it, so.
No,
Well,
I found it.
email, well, you know, oh, what do we got here? Do you have the pattern paper, Mary? Oh, you're muted.
I'm holding the long
Hang on.
side.
It's the thing that's key, because I helped a friend block this last year, and I didn't have this piece of paper when I started helping her block it, and then she finally pulled it out and it was like, oh, this makes much more sense, right? So this is your start point, Ronni. This is your starting point.
Okay.
So you have a straight edge off of there, right? You have a 90-degree angle here. And you have another 90-degree angle here. That's what you want to bring together, because this part makes like an isosceles triangle, and that's an obtuse angle and another 90 here. So you want the two 90-degree angles to where you're putting it together. Sorry, I'm a math person.
Rose
So-
is loving this math talk. I can tell she's like getting all like lit up over there.
I was saying it's basically like exactly a triangle sitting on top of a rectangle.
A rectangle, absolutely. Right.
In re-
So you want to find your rectangle edge, this 90 degrees from your start point, and then this 90 degrees here.
Those come together.
Yep. Does that
Yeah.
help, Ronni?
And triangle is hanging down from that.
Sorry, ladies, I'm just dense with this.
Well, you know what? I found when I was working with my friend to block hers, that it was easier to lay it out on the table.
Yes, lay it out on your bed or something there, Ronni, so you can see its shape.
Yeah.
That made all the difference.
Okay, I'll do it.
Thanks for
No.
jumping in there.
Sure.
Thank you,
Mary.
everyone, for your help. Thank you.
Ronnie, have you
Next-
blocked it
Oh,
yet?
I hope I get it. Next week I'm wearing it.
Ronnie, have you blocked it yet?
No. I
Once
just
you
finished
block it-
getting off.
Once you block it, it'll be much easier to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because
don't
it
take,
won't be as curly and stuff.
right. It'll
Did
be
you-
really obvious.
Jane, did you finish yours?
No.
Do you want to show and tell what that you're, so we can see how it's going?
Let me just rearrange. I've had a
Ooh.
very busy week at work
Oh,
because
wow.
I had inventory and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I've worked like 60 hours a week since I saw you guys last. So I had no
Wow.
knitting time, but and actually one of my yarns is striping,
Oh,
but it's not my background color. So what I did was I just
as it changes color, I'm moving it through.
Wow, I love it. What yarns did you use?
So, of course, my yarn bag is on the other side of the table, but this is a hand spun that I bought at a yarn festival that I just love. And then this is a speckled one that I got from the Cashmere Goat, and I don't remember what it is called. And then I had these two in my stash.
Nice.
So
Love
they're actually also all different weights, which because the hand spun is random, right? The weight just changes all the time. And this is lighter than I thought it was going to be I don't know if you can even see the speckles. The lighting is weird, but anyway, this is a little bit lighter weight than I thought it was going to be. And then these are a little heavier when I put them all together, but because this is a textured piece, it looks great.
It totally looks great.
It's going to be, and once it's blocked, it's going to be awesome. So I'm really having fun with it. But you can see that, like, this dark green is hand spun, and then this section from here to here, like in between my fingers there, that's hand spun and it changes color. And then this section between the light green and the rust color, these rows here, these are also the hand spun. So I'm having fun with that.
That's beautiful. Love it.
Halfway through section 4.
Fantastic. I just wanted to do a quick note, and then definitely have enough time for more folks to share if you want. But one of the things I didn't do with the Ramona Knit Along, but that I wanted to do with this one, is collate some of the resources on like a 1-page kind of a PDF situation. So maybe you're not all the way finished with the shift, there's all those emails that I sent, but like, is it annoying to try to search and find the thing you want? So I'm right now working on just putting together in one place a summary of if there were tips that came out in the email, just like copying it into the thing, and then a link to the YouTube videos, etc. So I think we'll have one more email that will come out Sunday morning, and then a final Tuesday email next week that will probably include this little finished document as a help tool. Watch for that. Any other folks want to do some share?
I will because I have a little. Well, I'm not nearly where y'all are, but I'm getting there. From Louisiana. There aren't many knitters around here, so I don't have the support group like y'all do in Maine, which is amazing. But anyway, it's all good. So I'm on section 4. I'll be finished with it soon. So I missed your second Zoom session, and I think that's probably when a lot of the kinks were talked about. So the way it's kind of curling, that's normal. And I feel like something happened in here. Can y'all see that?
Can you turn it around so we can see the front side?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can do that.
Looks much better. Much better.
Better. So I don't know what happened in this little area right here, but it's not like a diagonal like this side is.
So that's exactly what we were just talking about. So
okay,
if you hold it up again, and I'll so the part where, yep, that's where you're turning the corner, and that's going to be the part that you seam at the back of your neck. So
I'm going to turn the corner again on another part of this, or?
It's kind of interesting. It's a little brain gym. You'll get it though, but it will happen, and it's kind of cool how it does happen. But it looks great. Hold it up and a little closer so we can get another look.
Sure. I'm sorry we're showing off that, but I really like it. It's
very nice. Beautiful.
It's a lot of fun. I take it to work and I work on it on my lunch hour. I just want to be a better knitter. I really do. My daughter. Well, I told y'all before, I mean, whenever I come to Maine, we typically make it over to Camden. So I've been in your shop a few times, but it's like once a year. she told me, she goes, I wish I lived in Camden. I would go to the Cashmere Goat all the time. She's in Waterville. And she's, even though I kind of started her knitting like a couple years ago, like, hey, I've tried knitting. She is leaps and bounds ahead of me, which I love. I'm thrilled for her. But I'm just so grateful she's in a community like Maine to have such a community of people who can help. So we talked about one day maybe going on that knitting cruise.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I want to do it. And I might even do it by myself. If we can't make our schedules work, obviously not this summer, but another one, I'm doing it. I'm just doing it.
Great.
You
will not regret it.
No.
Yeah. Somebody said did somebody say New Orleans?
Hey, I asked you, do you live in New Orleans?
I do. Well, yeah, in a suburb of New
You
Orleans.
do you go to the Quarter Stitch?
I have been there.
That's a great
kind of out of my
shop.
way. It's like it's in the French Quarter parking. It's so for me to like go there and get some help, it's not so easy as like going to the Cashmere Goat to get some help. Do you know what I mean? There is another shop. It's like a needlepoint shop with some yarn in it. They do more needlepoint. It's a good backup, but like they don't have this. Like, let's have a knitting
Community.
Come Sunday and we're going to knit, or let's do this. So that's why I won't rip anything out. That's why I'm the slowest knitter ever, because if I rip it out, I'm not going to have anyone to help me get it back on my needles. I'm going to have to start over.
Oh dear.
So,
well, I think your shift is looking super beautiful. So
oh, thank you.
Love to see that.
It's fun. I've enjoyed doing this.
Iris, do we have one more week of the shift?
We are going to do, so our last Sunday in the shop is this Sunday, and then we're going to do one more Zoom next Wednesday. And
Because I would love to hear you talk about the next knit along.
Yeah.
Those patterns, the pictures that you sent out. I just would like to hear a conversation about them.
Definitely. And I think we probably by then will have honed in on our final, because we've gotten a great response from the poll, which has been super helpful. But I mean, it's tough, and they're two gorgeous patterns. And so yeah, I think we're honing in on a decision. But yeah, we can definitely carve out some time next week and we can talk all about that.
Excellent.
You know, it would be really nice if we all sent you a picture of our shift, and if you could see how everybody looks on Zoom right now with the gallery view. It'd be really cool to see shift after shift in one of your newsletters.
Great idea. Great idea.
I was actually, just made a note to myself, actually. It's super funny. I love the idea. I loved what DeeDee sort of inspired me to think about, maybe even thinking about that for next week's final Zoom. If you want to take a photo and send it to me, and that way you don't have to worry about sharing the screen and all that stuff. And I could still, you could still be the one talking about it. But if anybody wants to send me their progress, their finished, whatever, I'll put them all together. And that could be sort of like one of our little finale moments of the online. So yeah.
And which email? I've got 2 emails for you, Iris.
Yeah, so it's actually, I was trying to be fancy. I'm not fancy yet, and we don't have it set up with like a Google Workspace yet. So it's actually my real Iris D Eichenlaub. I'll put it in the chat, and that's at Gmail. I was like linking to, how you can, you don't care about it, but whatever. I'm putting it in the chat. And yes, I would love, and even if it's just like the tiniest little bit of a shift, there it is in the chat.
Oh, great.
Tiniest little bit of a shift with your yarn. I don't care. Like, we want to see it, and it'll be fun to have and do a little.
Just want to say, I haven't knit for like 30 years or something, and someone got me back into it 4 years ago, and then the pandemic. So I've just gone to our local yarn shop, but I was up in Camden for a funeral in February and got to the Cashmere Goat and got so turned on by your store. It's just amazing, and everybody in there was amazing, and everyone was knitting. And this is the first time I've been brave enough to do a knit along, and so out of my comfort zone, but I think this is just wonderful. And what I do, I have a terrible time making decisions in color. So I decided ahead of time what I was doing, the color background was going to be the same. And then I finished it and I said, oh, it's kind of boring because I didn't really pop things out or this or that. But I had done her hat, the shift along. She has a hat. So she called them little blips. So I was familiar with that. But I mean, I love it. I love
Hold that up,
the
please.
yarn.
Yeah, I'm gonna spotlight you here. Yes.
Beautiful.
Pretty.
It's beautiful.
So I just use
I
the same
love it.
background and change the fingering yarn
Beautiful.
every section. But
Wow.
I had a lot of fun with it, and I love the I-cord. And I used the I-cord first on those fiddlehead mittens, and also used my first 9 and 10-inch needles on those. And those are great to work with. I started on the loop, the magic loop, and then switched over, and it was much easier, I thought. So I'm going to do my next socks on those. So that was a great comment, but everybody's advice and everything has just been wonderful. So thank you so much.
It's really beautiful, and thank you so very much for your for sharing that with us. You know, we love connecting with people around knitting, and I guess it comes out in the store, so that's good.
Well, now I know why I knit socks. You don't have to worry about where you're sewing things up.
True.
I'm a bad finisher, so I hope I can get this thing sewn up correctly.
And I think in the video or in the email, I did two links to videos. One was Andrea Mowry showing how to use the mattress stitch to sew up the back of a cowl. It's not the shift, but it's the same principle.
Right.
And then the other one was like hiding your ends in the I-cord if you can, so that it's fewer ends to sew.
Yeah, I have no ends. I have no problem with that. It's just, I'll be honest, I can't figure out what sides I'm sewing this thing up from. I mean, I know I'm so stupid with this. It's crazy.
You're totally not stupid. It's just weird.
I can't finish anything.
Well, try laying it out, like after you block it, like somebody said, try laying it out. And once it's flat and not curling, you know, think about that principle of like rectangle, triangle. And it's the two sides of the rectangle that you're gonna sew up. And then once you see it, you'll be like, whoa. Yeah. Well, listen, it's a little after 6. I want to honor folks' time, but it was amazing. Is there anybody that was dying to share that hasn't? I'm sorry, before we get off.
Iris, I just wanted to say thank you for all the tips and emails, because I mean, I'm a little bit behind, I think everybody else, a lot of people, but they've come at the perfect time. I was like ready to stop knitting yesterday before I read your email because I'm using fingering, and I thought, I'm afraid it's going to be too small. And then I saw your diagram and what you had written about, and I thought, oh, perfect, I can keep going. So I just wanted to say thank you that you really have hit on at least my questions at the right time with all your emails and videos.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad they're helpful. All right, friends, well, we'll meet up next week. And in the meantime, have fun knitting, and yeah, see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Bev.
Bye-bye, Iris, and thank you again.
Oh my God, it was so fun having you in the shop last week. That was
Oh
awesome.
my God, if I lived closer, I'd be living there. So it's probably good for you that I don't.
No, we love it. I mean, it's yeah, but it's nice that we get our little pop-ins from you. And I was definitely chatting with Kristen a little bit about the idea of like a knitting retreat. And I said, you know, who has helped organize some is Bev in terms of a quilting retreat, and so our wheels are turning, and it might not be
wonderful.
for a while, but I think that would be a lot.
I would so love, I just love the immersion.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so nice.
Yeah.
So nice. So are you looking at yarns for me for the next one?
Well, I'm not yet, because we're getting some new ones. So Kristen just placed some, so the link to the collection that you probably looked at has some, but we're getting like a restock of the Pima soft cotton, and we're getting a new yarn from Noro that we're pretty excited about. It's a cotton silk viscose, and the colors are really, really yummy. So she just placed that order today, and I'm super excited. But there's some bold colors, there's some more neutrals. But I think, you know, a lot of people with the summer top might want something a little bit, you know, colorful, you know, hey, it's
Yes.
summer. So,
Yeah,
but there
definitely.
were some good greens. I know you're a fan of green too. So we'll see, but I think that could be a contender, but there's going to be some good options. There's some tweedier, sort of softer options too, but we'll do a little FaceTime shop sometime.
Good. I'm enjoying stepping out of my comfort zone with the colors I'm using for the shift. So may have to keep that up. Not too far out of my comfort zone, but
No, those are good. And like we said last week, you know, they look really good with the other colors you wear as just this fun, like you wouldn't think that those pastels would necessarily be great with, you know, the sort of more, you know, the green that you love, that mossy green, but I thought it was fabulous. So.
Oh, I think it's going to be great. So super.
All right. Well, we'll be in touch.
You bet. Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Bev. Have a
You
good
bet.
night. Bye.
Bye-bye.